high-ranking Atlanta police official are at the center of explosive allegations.
It involves sexual encounters inside the judge's chambers during work hours.
The judge had sex on at least 5 occasions over a 2-year period inside her chambers with a high-ranking police officer. Employees interviewed during the investigation described multiple incidents where they allegedly heard people having sex through the walls. One court clerk testified to hearing what was described as unsettling noises, kissing, and music coming from the judge's chambers.
Why should the everyday person care about these allegations?
The American legal system depends on honesty and truthfulness.
This investigative report did not identify the judge or the officer, but multiple sources confirmed to Channel 2 that federal judge Eleanor Ross and Atlanta Police Deputy Chief Kelly Collier were the 2 accused. I reached out to Ross, but a representative responded with no comment. The chief judge has already issued Ross a private reprimand, and she agreed to write apology letters to her employee.
Federal judge and a
All right. What's going on, fellas? We have some extracurricular activities to discuss going on. How y'all doing though? What's up with y'all?
Hey, what's going on, man? How you feeling?
Can't complain, man. Can't complain.
Good. Some clapping happening.
So for starters, we're going to start off with everybody that's currently watching, wherever channel or platform you're watching from. Please make sure that y'all are following, subscribe. Feel free to be members of any of our respective channels. And shout out to everybody that's been supporting us since we started this men's table. Thank you to all the support. Let us know if you're in the building. Feel free to put a 1 in the chat, or at least put the city that you're watching from. We hate looking at numbers. We love at least looking at the names and knowing that people are in the building. But what's going on with you fellas, man? What's up with y'all?
Well, it's June. Man, time is flying. The conclave is right around the corner. We've talked a lot about this off the mic. I hope to have much more information about that very soon. And always good to be here with my men's table brothers. And looking forward to a really good conversation tonight.
Absolutely, man. What about you, Dave?
Man, everything is beautiful. Dave Anderson Morning News is growing strong. We just hit 28,500 subscribers and 4.5 million views in 9 weeks. So
Heck yeah.
You better thank a YouTube member. So with that being said, man, I'm having a ball Monday through Friday, 10 a.m. Eastern to 12 noon Eastern. And then, of course, this Friday, I'm having my men's wealth. It's not even a men's wealth. It's an everybody's wealth masterclass, absolutely free. Make sure you go ahead and click that link in my description. Other than that, I have been, getting shipments from Darwin. That's why I'm getting, tight black V-neck T-shirts, from Darwin's hand-me-down collection. He stretched them out though. That's why it's a little room, under the arms.
Work. So real quick, I know Darwin's going to join us pretty soon. Yeah. Obviously, we got this case going on, man, in terms of this supposed judge and this major scandal. And I think we're going to have a reevaluation when it comes to ladies, when it comes to so much of, I think, what's been happening on social media. It's been in universities, this constant talk about the need to dismantle the patriarchy, right? Men can't be trusted with power. They don't want men to have authority. They feel like if men have power and authority, they're going to abuse it, whether it's over children, women, households, even in, various settings in society. It's constantly discussed about the idea that when men have power and authority, they're likely to misuse it and abuse it. And more, man, we've been kind of noticing, when women get access to power and authority, it often shakes out that they end up doing some of the most insane things just that men are capable of as well. So when y'all kind of came across this situation involving this judge reportedly having extramarital affairs with a high-ranking police officer, what was the first things that came to mind for y'all?
I feel like equality is working exactly how it's supposed to. Again, this is what you wanted to do. This is you want to sit up here and do bald-headed hoe stuff in the name of I'm a woman, I'm strong, I'm independent, I'm powerful, I got this qualification, I got the robe. So apparently you ain't have nothing up under that robe, and you damn sure didn't have a dickie under that robe, and then you got one under the robe. So I'm not particularly shocked or surprised or dismayed by these types of actions, because this. There's no monopoly on cheating. There's no monopoly on clapping cheeks. There's no monopoly on ball-headed whole mess. Like it's equal opportunity. So at the end of the day, whether you are a judge, whether you are the secretary or the organist at church, all cheeks get clapped the same way. This is what y'all wanted, equality. So now you get it. Now we're going to judge you with the same mark and standard that you judge us on. Congratulations, equality.
Man. And what about you, Obsidian?
Yeah, I'm glad we're having this discussion, Jeff. There has been a lot of discussion, you're right, about, the question of, men being in power, and we can get granular with that when we start to break it down by race, but just to keep it broad right now, the idea that men writ large are, very, tyrants and dictators and all the rest of it. And the assumption that once women writ large assume into or ascend rather into positions of power and authority, that they will be kinder and gentler. And I think the evidentiary record so far says something a lot different that we're going to be getting into tonight with regard to the specific situation with the judge and the police officer in question. It's shameful. I don't like being the moral police. I don't believe in moral panics, but there is something to be said. They said that, the old adage that hypocrisy is the price that, you pay the virtue. I'm not expecting anybody to be perfect. I'm certainly not. But when you occupy positions like police and judges, you are the living embodiment of what our society represents in terms of justice, fairness, impartiality, protecting the citizenry. And when you act in a way and in a manner that is not befitting those things, you not just only tarnish yourself. I mean, these people committed adultery. That's bad enough, especially given that they're both Black, given the situation on the ground in Black America with regard to marriage. And we've had very candid and I think long overdue discussions right here on the men's table about the Black male role in all of that. Rightly so. Given all of that, it really is, it's like a 1-2 gut punch here, because not only are you sullying the very idea of a civil society, but you're also setting a very bad example for marriage too. And it's really sad, man. It's really sad.
Yeah, man. And real quick, for everybody that's currently watching, please make sure y'all like this. Please send it to at least 2, 3, 4, or even 5 people. This conversation is going to be very good, because obviously we're going to talk about this judge. We're going to talk about Lizzo, and we're going to talk about Ellen and how they're all kind of connected to this concept of when women get power, what are they capable of? And like Obsidian said, we really do have to start to reevaluate this whole desire for a matriarchy and getting rid of men in all positions of influence and power and authority. And again, if you have a particular comment or question that you guys want us to kind of reference at some point during the chat or during the live, feel free to hit that super chat button. We already got one so far. Chris Cook 9433, thank you, sir, for the $10. Let me remove this real quick. He writes, did some research after your IVF single moms by choice episode, remarkably similar to breeding in chattel slavery. Whoa. Bred by trait selection choices, male lineage separated and child isolated. Awful. Appreciate you, Chris, man, for the $10. And yeah, that was very interesting. Episode that
I would be very careful of. I understand the spirit and where the brother is coming from. I get the spirit of it, but I'm very careful about applying language to our forebearers past in this country, chattel slavery, etc. I'm very careful with that, because personally, I only speak for myself. I take that very seriously. I regard our history in that regard not unlike our Jewish American fellow citizenry with regard to the Holocaust, etc. You don't see them just kind of throwing around, language that's associated with that period. Rightly so. And I'm very careful about doing the same thing. I think that the spirit of where the brother's coming from is right. I would be a bit more gentle with the language.
Yeah, I actually would agree with you, and I'm rereading it a few times now, and that I see what the similarities are, but there's such stark differences when it comes to how they went about doing it. But I do appreciate you, Chris, for the $10 for sure. Back to this judge, man. One second. Yeah, back to this judge. I want to read off a little bit in terms of the ABC News. They said the genesis of the investigation was one of the judge's law clerks reporting that the judge had engaged in sexual activity with an officer on multiple occasions in the judge's office. It also was alleged that the judge didn't properly supervise the clerks and on one occasion yelled and cursed at the staff. Apparently, this judge, or she had already been brought in and asked, and originally she had declined or stated that it didn't happen. They said the committee that was set up to kind of review this, they reviewed logs and security footage and showed an officer had frequently visited the judge's chambers in uniform around lunchtime, and 6 clerks recalled seeing someone who fit the officer's description, with 3 remembering overhearing what may have been sexual activity in the judge's office. And then it says later on, the judge ultimately admitted to having an extramarital sexual relationship with the officer, but denied the allegations about mistreatment of staff, the committee wrote. The judge acknowledged to the committee having gone to a mixer of former employees of a DA's office where the judge used to work, but said it was in a separate room from the victory party. The judge also agreed to write an apology letter to the 6 former law clerks not to accept the position of the chief judge of district when eligible and to refrain from serving on any judicial conference committee. This is not too long, like, what was it, a week ago, we covered Cheyenne Bryant, right? Where we had a Black woman who was getting positions of influence off of seemingly reportedly fake credentials, or at least credentials she can't prove. And some of us, when there were some commentators, I think, that talked about the idea of how what she did and how she moved could have potential ramifications when it comes to the rooms that Black women are being welcomed into, the opportunities that they're given, the extra scrutiny that's probably going to result as it relates to this. And now we have a Black judge with a Black police officer doing, reportedly doing this. And what do you guys think, if at all, the potential ramifications of what this might look like when it comes to the Black female image in the professional setting? Because on one hand, you have the Cheyenne Bryants of the world who can't prove their credentials, but we saw how she was acting with Touré, how she was carrying herself, how she was displaying herself, and she kept claiming the title of doctor. Now we have an actual judge who's also Black
at the federal level at that.
At a federal level, was appointed by Obama, if I remember correctly. And now we have a situation like this unfolding. What do you guys think is actually happening to the professional image of Black women? Either of you can join in first.
Dave, please.
Okay. First of all, it's laughable to me that we have to have this conversation, because the truth of the matter is what she got as penance for literally being a country crock judge, meaning she shed her clothes and spread her legs all throughout those chambers, is laughable. Oh, she won't serve on a committee. Oh, she won't get the big judge position when she's first eligible for it. Had that been Judge Joe Brown, he would have had his foghorn leghorn stuttering ass fired, flogged, tarred, and feathered. Miss me with this. On top of that, this alleged deputy chief was coming up in there for some afternoon delight. They would have plastered this dude. He would have been, if the situation was reversed, He would have been suspended without pay, so on and so forth. None of that has happened because it's funny. It's like when little boys get what I call Antoine Fisher. Everybody want to high five them and ignore the abuse. Having been one of those little boys myself, what happened to me got celebrated. You see what I'm saying? There's a double standard with that. And I'm saying all that to say, this woman is not getting equality. She's still being soft-shoed. Part of that is because she is Black. Part of that is because she's a female. And part of that is because, oh my God, if it's not for the Father, the Son, the Holy Spirit, and Barack Obama, she would have been laid out to dry. Period, point blank. You can't tell me otherwise, because had she been a Trump appointee and Black and female, she'd have been out of there. Facts. Quick, fast, in a hurry. I wish somebody could tell me when I'm telling a lie.
Facts. Damn.
Yeah. I do think, Jeff, that the Cheyenne Bryant, which is still ongoing, as we speak, my personal view is that this is going to be the big social media story of the summer. So we'll be stuck with this for the next few months, in my view.
What, this situation with the judge?
With Bryant.
Yeah.
I do think that Bryant, and by extension the judge situation, etc., I do think that they all kind of add up to a potential black eye in terms of Black female image. I do think that. I think it's I don't think any one episode does it. I think the cumulative effect of it kind of all snowballs into that, especially at a time where we're in a social media age, and the very nature of it is very image driven in a very staccato type of fashion. It does kind of all add up to a bad look. I remember we first started out with this program barely 4 or 5 months ago, and we had extensive back channel conversations, which basically amounted to, okay, we need to be very intentional, we need to be very thoughtful, we need to think beyond the moment to contribute meaningfully to the discourse, to live as meaningful personal lives, et cetera, for the betterment of not just ourselves materially or in terms of a brand or clout, but also to make the Black male image better.
Yeah.
I'm in this moment, Jeff, there's a real question on the floor as we see the Bryant and this judge and other examples we're going to discuss this evening. Are Black women being as thoughtful as we are? And while we ponder that, let me be very clear on something. I am not saying that men in general, Black men in particular, are above reproach. Far from it. But there have been numerous instances in history, ancient and modern, of men doing bad things, of men behaving badly, of evil men. I'm reminded of the quote from Miyamoto Musashi from the Book of Five Rings: good men need to know violence so they can deal with evil men, so evil men don't become fluent at it. So I'm very aware of the foibles of men, no question about that. But there's a real question that we have to consider here, and that's whether the sisters are even giving conscious thought to the things that we discussed in private while we was putting this whole thing together, and our commitment to trying to do our part to present the best of us.
That is such an interesting question, and I never really thought about it through that lens of where's the intentionality of who they're displaying, who they're celebrating, who they're platforming, and whether or not they even care about the image that person that they're now elevating. Like when we had a month ago this whole debate about Meg Thee Stallion and why they have such a parasocial relationship with her and are upholding her, and I'm like, why would a person like this be the one that you all are seeing as a symbol of a leader, especially of grown women. Now, this one thing if it's teenagers, but this is grown women that's looking at a woman that's done the things she's done and said the things she's done and lied in the ways that she has. It's been strange to see, like, you're right. I don't think a lot of them, when it comes to, it's not just about celebrities, it's just in general. They're like, if she's black and she's a woman and she's not on the right as far as politically, it's like they're going to rock with her no matter what. And
Absolutely.
Right. And then D Name, he put this out there, and again, we could sit here and kind of hit on this. He says there's no difference between the urban, lower class, uneducated so-called black female or the suburban, educated, middle class, upper class so-called black female. We could park right here, fellas.
Oh yeah, for quite a while.
Yeah,
bro.
Yeah.
What?
One thing I've lamented, and this is the first time I'm saying it openly in this forum. One thing I've noticed, so that we're clear, this is not just unique to the sisters. I've seen this sadly with some brothers as well, but to the point.
Certainly.
Yeah, I've seen sisters that are respectable. They have they actually do have the credentials, all the accoutrements, etc. And their demeanor and behavior is akin to what I would see, and we're all from Philly, what I would expect to see out on Woodland Avenue or on Lehigh Avenue or on Erie Avenue. You know what I mean? They don't act like as if they're from Lincoln Drive or or from Cheltenham Township or Mount Airy. They're acting as if they're from, Fifth and Fair Hill or something. I mean, my thinking is, my thinking is there is something to be said for that. And there has been this sustained multi-decade assault on what has become known as respectability politics. That somehow if you are a black person, be that male or female, and you strive toward what used to be called bourgeois middle class values, that somehow you're not really black. You're kind of faking it. You're faking the funk. You're not authentic. You're not really black. And I think that type of thinking has really hurt us.
Yeah.
It really has gotten to a point where it's really starting to do serious damage now to us, in my opinion.
Absolutely, man. What's going on, Darwin?
Hey, what's going on, D?
Tess, what's going on, fellas?
How you feeling, man?
All right, how y'all making it?
He had to finish his push-ups before he got ready to hop on. But yeah, man. What you about to say, Dave?
A couple of things. You guys ever heard the phrase, just because you put lipstick on a pig doesn't make it any less pork? Just because you got a degree does not automatically unthought you.
Jesus. Damn.
Listen, I'm not trying to be funny, but I grew up in the media. I grew up in the entertainment and music industry. I know women who got platinum plaques on their wall that have been plastered on a whole lot of walls. I know women who are high-powered executives who have been clapped up like they just got finished doing a set on the satellite and the main stage at Onyx. I know women who are gut bucket, gutter snipe, trash, hood rat, thought pockets who can tell you about Aristotle. Like, this whole notion that just because you got a degree or got a high power position doesn't mean you don't want to get bent over and clapped up is absolutely reprehensible and utterly ridiculous. They are all women. They all want the same thing: power, money, safety, and pipe. And until we have that conversation in its entirety, we're going to stop pedestalizing these women like they're so cool. By the way, I'm not trying to be funny, but I know for a fact, and when I say I know for a fact, I'm theorizing because I'm not there with y'all. I know for sure that all of us in our day have known a nice little church girl. That was a nice little church girl.
Man.
So what are we talking about?
A gentleman never kiss and tell. That's
Yeah, we're not talking about gentlemen, bro. We're talking about the mentor of Ace Metaphor. So we talking about you. So By the way, when you talk to Ace, is he coming on the show? You tell him I've been asking about it?
I have not. I have not.
So just call him up.
Yeah. So
Call him, baby.
So real quick, before we jump back into it, I got a couple super chats. Miss Couture, thank you for the $5. They call Black women who abuse their title and power ice queens. Yeah. One thing that I've learned working in mental health and psychology, you get used to being surrounded by so many women in the workplace. This is way beyond HR and like, secretarial positions. Like most of the field is dominated by women as psychologists and therapists, right? The amount of times that women have told me that they preferred a male boss to a female boss was crazy. Crazy. And if y'all watching in the chat right now, please comment if you are a woman, if you prefer working under a male boss or a female boss, because the narrative is always men that are bosses are authoritarian. We're always trying to, take advantage. And I hear from countless women often that if they had to choose, not only have I heard them say specifically, and Obsidian, you kind of alluded to this a little bit, not only do they prefer a male boss, a lot of Black women say the worst boss they've ever had was a Black woman.
100%.
I don't know what's going on with some of our sisters when it comes to them getting power and authority, but it's just like, again, the complaint wasn't really just about supposedly her doing something inappropriate with the officer. It was also the treatment of the clerks. That was what they were claiming was what prompted it all along, right? And Darwin, did you know anything about this story in terms of the judge and what happened with that?
I mean, I heard about the scandal or her being with the officer in the chambers, but you're saying the catalyst for this coming out, if you're saying the catalyst for this coming out to the front is because she mistreated the clerks.
Yep.
That's funny. So if she treat the clerks right, they keep their mouth shut about the chambers.
Yes, that's exactly
100%.
Bro, that's exact, man. It's fascinating to me. And Dave, you alluded to it. So the end consequence is no real punishment.
Correct. Nothing's happened to her. Did you hear about criminal charges? Did the chief of police come and make her assume the position? Not that position. Actually, hands behind the back with handcuffs. In order to process her from an arrest standpoint, not to. Anyway, what we're talking about here, gentlemen, is the fact that these folks are still privileged. And I'm trying, Jeff, correct me if I'm wrong, but since the passage of the Civil Rights Act, isn't it safe to say statistically that we, and when I say we, I mean the Black American community, have lived primarily under female leadership? Dare I call it a matriarchy? So where in the bloody blue name of Thor's hammer is this patriarchy of which they speak? Not to mention the reason that all those women that you talked to who said they'd rather have a male boss than a female boss because the worst boss they ever had was a Black woman, and this is not Black misandry, this is just good old common sense. A lot of sisters are raised to believe it's not what's inside of them, it's what's on them, because what's in them is not enough. So they got to put all this stuff on so that when they get a position, they are worse than the overseer was on the plantation. They got to show everybody who they are. That's why they always leave. When you get in an argument or you get into a discussion where you disagree with a lot of these sisters, the first thing they do is say, what? I'm educated. I went to this school. I got this type of grade, this, that, and the third. You still got ovaries. You still a woman. We do not care. Again, congratulations, but that has nothing to do with what I know. Plenty of educated idiots, male and female, but with them, it's a thing where they got to just show you by telling you who they are. So why in the world would you want to work under somebody who's so insecure that they got to tell everybody everything that they got? You know where my degrees are, in that drawer right there. You want them? The rest of them with my mom in Arizona. Like, who cares? Y'all don't come here for my matriculation. You come here because I'm the one that's going to say the bad thing. Don't require a degree for that.
So
Avery,
how did
go ahead.
how did we confirm? How did we confirm she? Is it confirmed or is it alleged that she mistreated
ABC?
the?
I just read it off of ABC News. They said the judge ultimately admitted to having the extramarital sexual relationship with the officer, but denied the allegations about mistreatment of the staff. The committee.
Okay,
wrote.
so
The judge.
So for all we know, she didn't abuse any power.
Well, there's a couple problems with viewing it that way. The first of which is, if the roles are reversed, everybody would see very clearly what the problem is. A judge is using their position to sleep with somebody that's under that's a power differential. So by default, that's already seen as bad. That's going to be seen as a Me Too situation, even if it was consensual. So that's one. And then number two, I think we would hear so much more about this, and this would be a lot bigger. And Dave literally said it, if it was a man doing it. That's just the reality of it. And remember, the entire narrative for years now has been, what? Dismantle the patriarchy. We need more women in more positions of power. We need to move more towards a matriarchy. Society and culture would be better if women were more in charge. Like I said earlier before you came on, last week I was just talking about this epidemic of teachers sleeping with students, especially female teachers. And even the way in which we handle it, from the way this judge, she got to write an apology letter to the 6 former law clerks. Fuck is that? Like, you know what I'm saying? Like, so even down to these teachers, the female teachers more often than not are still getting little to no real sentencing in comparison to male teachers when they get caught for doing the same exact thing. We still have in our heads, not us on this panel, but as a culture and society, we still view women and their capability of evil and taking advantage and manipulating and abusing power as, we view them as teenagers, where it's wrong, it's bad, but it's not as consequential as an adult doing it. We view that when it comes to women doing this stuff. So of course, and you're doing it on a taxpayer dime. So like on multiple fronts, you obviously will be getting fired. Listen, cats could get disbarred from being able to practice law or even be a judge with something like this happening. So
what I'm saying is, are y'all saying that she, because of the reports of her mistreatment to the clerk, she got to write several apology letters?
That was a condition. That was her punishment, her penance. Not only that,
So
she also, when it's time for her to be elevated to another higher level judge, she can't do it at first.
Okay, so that means it was confirmed that she did actually mistreat the clerks.
It was confirmed that the clerk said, yes, it was confirmed that the clerk said that she mistreated them, because all 6 of the clerks are no longer there. And it was a clerk of hers who reported this. So
and the panel or the board or whatever it is over her decided in the clerk's favor per investigation.
Yeah.
Or they just lean. Okay, yeah. So we don't know. We don't know whether they went through like a court martial or some shit. Like, I don't know what they call it.
That was her sanctioning.
That was her sanction. Was writing apology letters and refraining from serving on any judicial conference committees. Like, you know what I'm saying? Like,
apparently she was found. It was found out that what the clerk was claiming was true.
It says the judge ultimately admitted to having an extramarital sexual relationship with the officer.
No, I'm not talking about the relationship with the officer. I'm talking about the mistreatment of the clerks.
She denied
mistreating them again.
So they just penalized her even though she denied it.
Yeah.
Yes, but the penalization is so what she got a slap on the wrist.
A slap on the wrist, bro. Like,
no, I'm saying
what she's doing is criminal.
The fact that you can deny, hey, look, I didn't do that, and they say, well, we're gonna make you apologize.
Because there was too much. Bro, here's the thing, right? There's 4 of us on this panel. If 3 of us say that Mumia is a fangirl of Michael Jackson fan art, if 3 of us say that, we don't necessarily got to prove it. We all have different
Really?
interactions with this man, and he loves Michael Jackson fangirl art. So,
Well,
what are we talking
okay.
about here?
Well,
There's three of us making a formal complaint about that. If
Ali said,
when's the last time? When's the last
Ali,
time?
hold on. If Ali said, "I'm not a fan," would we not have to prove it after he denied it?
When's the last time you heard? I mean, you would. But the thing of it is, name a time in history you've heard of 6 clerks from a federal judge all leaving the position.
I get that. That's a strong argument. But
here's another one for you. I'll give you a real argument that you can't deny. All right. So, in my career, I'm going to give you a real example. In my career, when I came along and I took over Ricky's show, and we put Ricky Smiley in the syndication, I was producer number 7. There have been 9 producers after me. That's a 1.2 producer in a 20-year average. That's 1.2 producers. What's the common denominator? You see what I'm saying? Because at the time in 2009, when I went through what I went through with him, because I'm trying to give a real example. What I went through with him, they told me I was a troublemaker, I was a rabble-rouser, but people who I never met, Claudia Jordan, so on and so forth, were saying the same things I was saying, and we'd never been in the same room. So at what point do you say there's common denominators? You see what I'm saying?
I agree with you, the common denominator theory.
That's all.
I agree with all that, but I'm still of the ilk of, okay, if somebody denied that they did something, I think there should be a process that allowed them to prove that they didn't do it. Just like if 5 women came through and said, oh, this dude put something in my cup, or you know what I'm saying, or somebody said, oh yeah, he touched me too. I still think that the person that's being accused of the touching, let's just say as a future NFL player or somebody who's trying to go to college, good in college, I think the athlete or whoever's being accused should be able to still make a case against the accusations. That's all I'm saying.
She can, because first of all,
because if they told me I got to apologize, and I'm like, hold on, I just told you I didn't do the shit.
Well, that's what I mean by that. If she believes that they slandered her name, and now this has been brought to the media, and if this has hurt her image and heavily contributed to destroying how the public society is viewing her and potentially even impacting a variety of things happening to her career, she's a judge. She knows what's the next steps, right? So this is one of those things where it's like, listen, we can get caught up in whether or not 6 people are lying or not. The overwhelming, really, the thing that actually caught the headlines was what was happening with her and the officer. That part she did admit. That part is confirmed. So again, whether she did or didn't do something with the clerks, right? I think what happens in these type of situations is once you get caught or on video, as far as him constantly being in her office, but also her admitting it, it's like a character witness situation where once your character's been called into question, or when it's been proven that you're capable of lying, it's not unreasonable for people to then assume that you could be also, trying to protect yourself when it comes to these additional components. She absolutely could be telling the truth that she did not do anything malicious or harmful or treated these people in any such way. But because of if that was the issue in and of itself, I think I would be more with you, where it would be like, there's literally nothing else that says that she's lying. It's just her word versus theirs. Maybe they really just have it out against her. But when it's in the context of this situation, the committee, who obviously wasn't related to her, had a separate independent investigation, decided your ass gonna apologize, and you're gonna write it down, and you're not gonna be able to accept certain positions, including joining committees and even the chief judge district position when you're eligible to do so.
What happens if she decided, okay, I don't want to apologize?
Too late, she already did.
She did.
Okay.
So,
was it like a consequence? Was it like an ultimatum?
In my head, it probably would have been, where I'm sure if she bucks against the committee that's set in place to hold you, quote unquote, accountable, I'm sure that there's going to be additional consequences as a result of this. And I'm telling you, like, again, reimagine this through the lens
of, only thing they can do is step down or get voted out in the next election.
Yeah, but you got to remember, like, people can get disbarred for.
Yeah, I was about to say the same thing. Yeah.
Right. So when you get disbarred, that's a whole nother gambit of terms of how are you a judge when you're not allowed to practice law anymore. So
if she would have to get, in order for her to get disbarred, she would have to actually they would actually have to take it into court and actually do a process against her.
listen, I promise you, if she eventually admitted it, she knew there was proof they could find. She knew. She knew between text messages, FaceTime, video calls. We're in the age of technology. These people ain't just talking one-on-one.
Right. So she admitted, I mistreated all these people.
Not that part. I'm talking about what the actual situation that brought this whole.
Oh, the buzz down. Listen, I'm gonna be honest with you. I don't know if you noticed. I just kept dodging that part of it, but I'm really not concerned about that. I mean, she. I mean, I find it funny, real rich, that we're surprised. I don't know if that's what the sentiment was whenever you started this live. That wow, a judge is doing that.
No. If anything, we're the opposite, right? Where we're viewing it through the lens of women are just as capable as men are when it comes to taking advantage of this type of stuff or misusing authority or privilege or positions of influence. And the difference is how society treats it and what the responses are to it. That's what we were kind of talking to when you kind of came in.
Yeah, because I'm thinking like if judges, I'm thinking like this. This is what I'm thinking the judges are thinking when they see this. Judges are like, they're not like, why would she do that? They're more like, why the fuck would she do that in the chambers? You get what I'm saying? You get what I'm saying?
Yeah.
Like now, why would she go committing adultery or infidelity or having an affair? Period. As a judge, it's more like, why the fuck would you do it in the chambers? Why wouldn't you go like it's almost like a decorum thing.
It is. It is. Now, Avery Carter, thank you for the $5. When you can't correct behavior, this is the result that you get. Appreciate you, Avery, for that. And then also Rip City, thank you for the $20. As a black man in corporate America, I've dealt with prejudice from white men and managers from third world countries, but I've never felt so emasculated until I was under the authority of two sisters that were my managers. Shake my head. Man.
Facts.
Wow.
I think with that chat is more like a contrast between a man yelling at you and telling you to get your shit together versus a woman. I think just because it's a different gender alone, I think that's when that emasculation card is going to be played. I can deal with a man yelling at me, telling me, get off your ass, get your shit together. But the moment a person with tits and a vagina do it, it's a matter of emasculation. But it's still the goal is to get you to accomplish a particular outcome or a mission. But they play the card of emasculation. I don't know if that's fair. I get it, isn't it a woman, but I don't think you should feel less of a man. If that's the case, then you should the process of you feeling less of a man or you're emasculated is accepting a role up under a woman initially, if that's the case. Because at some point, she's going to have to give direction. At some point, you're going to want to buck. What is she supposed to do? You know what I'm saying? So if you feel emasculated, when did it start? Did it start at her yelling at you, telling you to get your shit together? Or did it start at her? It started you signing a document or paper agreeing that she's going to be your supervisor and tell you what the hell you're supposed to do.
Yeah, and there's definitely cases where I'm sure that there's men that interpret any woman that tells them what to do as that. I think we gloss over the idea of, how about let's go back to Cheyenne, Bryan, and Touré. Two things could be true.
Right.
But what she did was emasculating. It was disrespectful. It did cross the line. It was all of the above, right? So it doesn't matter what version of how he shows up or how he interprets it. What she did cross the line. She did disrespect him, right? And I think what happens in certain situations like this, now remember, this is a guy saying that. So what about the countless black women who also say the same exact thing, that oftentimes their worst boss happens to be a sister? And now if we want to say, well, maybe they also have an internalized view of being willing to accept authority from men more than women in the workplace. Well, that's not translating in society. That's not translating on these panels where they're constantly talking about we can't lead. They don't want us to lead. We can't say anything. So if they're also making the same complaint that a lot of sisters in positions of power are often abusing it, I think we got to listen to more and more people when they share these stories, man. That
Let me say this. I'm glad you brought up the Dr. Cheyenne and
correct.
And I totally agree that the actual interaction between them two was an emasculating interaction on behalf of Dr. Cheyenne or Cheyenne Bryant. But I like to take a step back. Okay, is it safe to say that she was allowed to speak like that whenever she decided she wanted to? That is where I draw the line. If I know that, I don't know what that dude name. What's his dude? Torre.
Right.
If I'm Torre and I know that any woman that comes in and that has access to me, whenever she gets the will, whenever she wants to, she can talk to me like that. I don't sign up for that interview. I need to have structure. I am not finna go into an interview. I'm not finna go into a organization or an event where the structure doesn't protect me. You get what I'm saying? Protect my masculinity. Because I don't have any ability to force any controls against her voice. I don't have any ability to apply any consequences for disrespect. I feel I'm set up. If I look at the sheet and I'm like, oh, there was nothing in place that can police or tone police or police anybody's voice whenever they get out of hand, I'm gonna feel like I'm walking into a booby trap. And I get it. It's you might have to think a little bit layers deep. But if you can't apply if I'm not insulated by any structures when it comes to another woman, then I don't buy into whatever situation that is. I think men are setting themselves up in that.
It's
like
hard.
Torre should have been able to confirm that. Like,
yeah,
I'm dealing with a lot of women on a frequent basis. What the fuck is gonna happen if this woman try to call me a pussy, and my kids gotta listen to this shit on the TV?
Darwin.
Is there anything set up to protect me as a man and my masculinity and my image? Because I can't tell you how many people were on both the other side of saying, like, how you gonna let a woman talk to you, even though he had no control? You get what I'm saying? She could have never talked to me like that. You know what I'm saying?
And
there's no way to really account for that.
Well, what you're saying, and Ms. Obsidian and Dave, I want y'all to come in. Sure. Everybody also can't control that. Right. Everybody's not going to be an entrepreneur. Everybody's not going to be a business owner. You are going to work in places. You are going to have bosses. Most people will. And some of them will be women. And I'm thinking about Mike Pence. Do y'all remember the Mike Pence, what he said when he first came out? And he said that he doesn't allow himself to be alone in rooms with women.
Yeah.
And that was
thank you for bringing that up.
Yeah. But remember, a politician saying that, for instance, a person in his position, maybe the various positions he's been in, he's able to maybe do that and even enforce that. But, if I work in psychology, if I work in mental health, how is that happening? Now, if you say the door doesn't have to be closed, sure. But the idea that I'm not going to ever be alone with a woman, that's not even a possibility in my field. Does that make sense? Right. So,
but you have the power to remove her from your vicinity. If a woman comes into your office and she start getting out of hand with you, you can kick that bitch out. Oh, excuse my language. You can kick that woman up out of there, right?
Kinda. It's possible you can walk out, right? You can remove yourself. You can't do anything.
You can walk out. You can remove yourself. Okay.
Yeah.
But you can shut off access immediately. Toure was in a situation where he was hopeless. I felt like he was hopeless. It was nothing he can do. And I heard him desperately begging for her to stop. And it was not only was she going to stop, the people that were running the show wasn't going to stop it. So it was almost like there was literally nothing you can do. You just have to take it on the chin, sir. And I can't be in a situation like that.
And then last but not least, perception is reality. Thank you, brother, for the $10. He writes, I support Black female success. However, I hate to say it, many do get a little beside themselves when they get in positions. They will use the double minority card when time to be held accountable. Damn.
100%.
And related to that, man, we gonna get to another minority woman, Lizzo. I think this was like a couple years ago, I think, if I remember correctly. Lizzo had received a few allegations relating to her treatment of background dancers and people who were like working for her. So I want to see what you guys think when we take a look at this.
Two big celebrities, Lizzo and Cardi B. I'm not sure it gets any bigger than that, actually, are making headlines today. First, Lizzo, whose real name is Melissa Jefferson, is being sued by 3 former dancers for sexual harassment and creating a hostile work environment.
The civil suit was filed yesterday in Los Angeles County Superior Court. The accusers claim that Lizzo pressured one of them to engage with nude performers at a club in Amsterdam and shamed another dancer for her weight gain before firing her. The suit also alleges
We gonna get to that too. We gonna get to that part soon too, but we gonna get to
racial harassment, disability discrimination, assault, and false imprisonment.
Now, they are seeking unspecified damages from Lizzo, her production company, Big Girl Productions, Big Touring Incorporated, and Shirlene Quigley. Now, she's the captain of the performers' dance team. The representatives for Lizzo have not responded to the lawsuit as of yet.
And now to rapper Cardi B. Police in Las Vegas are investigating a complaint from a concert goer that she was struck by a microphone thrown from the stage last Saturday. Police did not mention Cardi B in the report, but here's a look at the incident.
Last year, you had some allegations against you of sexual harassment and creating a hostile work environment, all of which you have denied, and I want to be completely clear about that. How did you feel when that news came to light?
You know, I don't want to talk about things like that. This isn't the space for it. We're celebrating female CEOs and powerful women. This isn't really the space to talk about the negative things that happen to us, because so much negative stuff happens to powerful women, and this is not the space.
It does. I did, and I think that's one of the reasons why we have to ask the question, to give the powerful woman the opportunity to answer in her own words, rather than just let stories circulate online.
Right. As I agree with you, I don't think this is the platform for that.
Okay.
Prepared, Lizzo, to take the witness stand and testify?
Absolutely. Absolutely. And I would look fabulous while doing it.
But even though it'll bring out more salacious details about your life, possibly,
the truth will come out.
Okay.
And that's why I'm not afraid of it.
You're not afraid?
No, not at all.
Oh.
I'm not afraid of the truth. The truth is less salacious than the headlines.
Obsidian, and then Dave, and then Darwin. Gentlemen, what y'all think?
Well, there's can't say he's academic. He's a public intellectual by the name of Rob K. Henderson, who has made a name for himself in recent years on the idea of luxury beliefs. That is to say that people that are higher up in society, elites, but we can also include, popular cultural figures who, espouse one thing and do something completely different. Good old-fashioned hypocrisy. That's what we see here with Lizzo. I mean, her entire platform, she's known more for her activism work than she is for her music.
Yeah.
And her argument has been the idea, well, it's a kind of a mixture of body positivity, read, advocating for plus size women. I'm trying to be diplomatic. And then you kind of mix that in with women of color. And then there's kind of like a LGBT angle that comes in there as well, because my understanding is that she's pretty popular among that crowd. So you got all that in the mix. And then comes to find out that she's treating her own employees very badly along those very same lines. So you can't make this stuff up.
Mm-hmm. What about you, Dave?
Full disclosure, Lizzo's masseuse is a client of mine, and her masseuse is also a dancer. So I know a little bit more than the average bear when it comes to this. I've seen things that I'm not going to get into, but what I will say is this. What they leave out of these conversations, especially at the time when this was happening, is that the judge dropped a lot of that stuff because it had absolutely no basis in fact, especially the body shaming. You're talking about a bagel of big backs. one and all. You know how like there's a murder of crows, a flock of seagulls, a school of fish. I call a gathering of bigbacks a bagel. It's a bagel of bigbacks, Jeff. Anyway, truth be told, whenever there's these types of situations, people want a quick payday. And the fact that Lizzo has never, what I can say is the fact that Lizzo has never tried to settle this, refuses to settle this, and let's have it out in court. I'm welcoming the day I get sued because Discovery gonna be so good. Because you covered for me. But Bo, we keep meticulous records over here. And a lot of this happens because of people want a bag. And if you understood, Lizzo's holdings, if you understood the way that chick moves, regardless of whether or not you like her music or talent or, her choice in wearing assless chaps to an NBA game, there's something to be said for what she has amassed. And also, if you notice, just like Cheyenne Bryant, when she did something that the sisterhood had an issue with, all of a sudden they turned on her. They was with her with all the body positivity, but when she started to go from moo-moos to Lane Bryant to Yitty and started shrinking a little bit, and as a person that has had a physical transformation, I understand that. The bagel of bigbacks, the collective mass bagel of bigbacks, lost what they felt was their de facto leader, and then they started piling on. So I think that's insane. Now with the Cardi situation, somebody threw some water and she threw a microphone. Yeah, she gonna have to pay for that. No different than when Miguel was at the MTV Awards and he jumped off the stage and basically hammered that girl with the inside of his thigh. Pause. Sometimes you just go catch a case. Like, hey, what you gonna do? That's just what it is.
What about you, Dawn?
Yeah, this thing with Lizzo, I mean, like, I think that story was maybe over a year ago, was it?
Yeah.
2023.
Did she ever win that case? Like, did she settle or?
It's still ongoing. As of last month, still ongoing, but the judge dismissed all of the claims about body shaming.
Okay, so those are gone. Just the sexual harassment is still
the sexual harassment and the hostile work environment.
Okay, so the sexual harassment, I'm just puzzled by that. Because if I was hearing it right, I think they stated that they were in a nightclub.
Yeah, a nightclub overseas.
I'm gonna be honest with you. This might be an unpopular opinion, but I think that is the place where that stuff is warranted. Whereas inappropriate things become appropriate when you when you go out in the streets. I think that's where all that, all that talk or whatever you want to do to somebody and all that stuff is expected. I don't know how somebody is leveraging sexual assault in a place like that. Oh, not sexual assault. I'm sorry. Sexual harassment in a place like that. I think people need to grow the fuck up. I mean, I've been in the last time I was in a club is I went out with my brother. He knows some producers because he's DJ for the Migos. Shout out to DJ Darrell. And we went out and I was part of their entourage because I was recording some of the events. And the women were just grabbing at us. Like the women were talking, saying, come screw me. I'm not gonna get real, I'm just control the language, but they were grabbing and all that stuff. And nobody now if this was just regular workspace or just it would be wrong. But in those settings, I think I'm gonna be the one to say it. I think in those places, those are accepted. Sexual harassment is accepted. So it should be accepted.
Darwin, what you're saying is, so if you're famous, you can damn near do anything. You can grab them by the pussy and get away with it.
Even if you're not famous. I think if you're in that setting, you could say, hey, mama, that ass look fat. Or she could say, ooh, you look like you can. I think in those settings, when you're in the streets, when it's alcohol, it's mingling, I think it's almost expected. I don't know where we changed at within the time frame, but my God, like for some of these places you go in and when we talking about the nightlife, especially here in Atlanta, they don't even have no clothes on. So am I allowed to walk into Magic City and say, hey, look, she's sexually harassing me because she walked in front of me with her coochie out?
No, sir.
No.
Unless you wait. No, hold on, Darwin. You make a very good point because when
I'm saying, she said, "Hey, do you want me to dance on you?"
Yep. No,
do you want to dance, sir?
No. I just came to Magic City for chicken wings. Oh, so I'm the only person that I'm the only person. You gonna act like the chicken wings ain't good?
Brother. The wings was good. I give it to you.
Thank you. Thank you. You know you can just go to the takeout window. You ain't got to see Cinnabons. Huh?
I had their brunch too.
The brunch is absolutely phenomenal.
I think it's a reach. I think anybody claiming sexual harassment in a nightclub is a reach. It's reaching real hard.
Yeah, harassment is a tough one. And the reason why I'm so happy that you guys said everything that y'all said in terms of just the different things that y'all focused on. Believe all women. How does that apply here? Because I know what that
believe
means.
all women, not believe all thoughts, Jeff.
No, hear me out. Hear me out. That concept, Me Too and believe all women, was only ever meant for if the male was a perpetrator.
Yeah.
Or was accused of being a perpetrator. The reason why we're even going through the ambiguity of the believability of this situation to the degree that I think we are is two reasons. One, because she actually is fighting it, like Dave said. But two, because she's female.
Yes.
Two, because she's female. Because first of all, she would not be brought up on award shows and host like the Kevin Hart roasting thing. She's not getting all these opportunities. She'd be Harvey Weinstein.
Yes.
All right. So believe all women really only tends to make sense and sounds about right 9 times out of 10 if the perpetrator or the person being accused is a man in this scenario. Because I guarantee you, it's not about whether the judge would have thrown it out or not. The same judge may have thrown it out. Society and culture would have treated it totally different. And I'm happy that y'all focused on the things that you did, because it showed me that we still have an internal thing in our heads where as a culture and society, we keep saying, not we, but like the people on the left or the feminists or whatever, a lot of the women keep pushing this, believe all women, believe women, there's real victims and we're not trusting them and believing their word. When multiple women are now speaking up against Lizzo, now it's not believe all women. It's believe one. And it's the one that you know and like.
Right.
So it's so interesting to me when it comes to women being accused of the things that's being accused of. The hoops that we're jumping through is fascinating to me. Am I off when it comes to this?
Is this believe all women thing? Does it also apply when a woman is on the opposite end of the allegation trying to defend herself?
That's the whole point. Apparently it doesn't. That's the whole point.
You mean to tell me there's a double standard, Jeffrey? My God.
That's the whole
next thing you're gonna wait. The next thing you're gonna tell me is that Darwin orders his t-shirts extra medium on point in order to harass the women on YouTube. Next thing you're gonna tell me, Mumia don't know where we're gonna have this conclave. Guys are crazy.
Did Cardi B settle? Did Cardi B settle in court for that? I mean, or was she even?
I think she did.
I think she had to pick that out.
Yeah. So I think the ability just to settle out of court within itself, it gives people in power the ability to do whatever the hell they want to do. As long as you got money, you can punch somebody. And I would even take it as far as whenever Cardi B held that microphone. And it's probably gonna cost me 50 grand. Oh well. Bop. I mean, so it's like it's like I got punchy money. Like, can you imagine somebody being I think it's an abuse of power to be able to just be able to. I get it. People on the receiving end of the incident, they want the money, but if you just look at it in totality, it's really a workaround. It's really a way to absorb. As long as you got the money, the digits, you can absorb yourself from the rules that everybody else has to play with. And I think that's what they mean by money is power.
Yeah.
You heard what Eminem said. Go file you a lawsuit. I'll smile in the courtroom and buy you a wardrobe.
Oh shit, he said that?
Yes.
Damn.
Yeah.
That's just what it is, because sometimes it's not even worth the the headache, you might as well just go ahead and deal with it and go about your business. Like, what does that mean? Because sometimes some people need their gums touched. It's a lot of listen, bro.
Punch you money. He said punch you money. I'm still hearing
punch you money is wild.
That's crazy.
I don't know if I quite have punch you money yet, but we're working on it.
I know I don't.
Jeff, you got that punch you money.
Nah. I'm gonna stay in my lane. Otherwise, you know.
That's why Jeff voice never go above a whisper. You ever heard Jeff yell? Jeff yelling, we'd all have a heart attack. It's like if God came down from on high and didn't use Jesus as a vessel. We'd be like, our brains would explode. What does Jeff's voice sound like when he yells? Y'all ain't never heard. You never heard it? That's like looking for Morgan Freeman baby picture. You ain't seen one. That's like finding a baby pigeon. It ain't happening.
Morgan Freeman baby picture is wild. Perception is reality. Thank you, sir, for the $10. Why do you all think modern day feminists continue to use all the things women from back then fought for to justify things today? 2026 isn't 1956. In some cases, women have more rights than men in the USA. Because they can and it works.
Right.
Because they can and it works, and we allow them to. And that's really the main takeaway I've always taken from Darwin. He's always acknowledged like this stuff goes as far as it does because men enable it. We enable it in the workplace. We enable it in our private homes. We'll enable it in our own families. And whether it's just them claiming because they're a woman or now, Dave, you just said it a couple weeks ago when it's the whole would a man hit a woman back?
Yes.
I'm not convinced women are not going to stop hitting men until they do. I don't know why we think that that's not going to happen. Like women are not going to improve or change or adjust if there's no consequences. I don't know why people think that this talking things through is just sufficient. Like now, again, what that looks like, that may result in you don't do certain business relationships with women. That may result in certain women are off the table when it comes to dating, courting, marriage. If you decide to do that, there are legit choices you can make way before you get to I got to put my hands on her to defend myself. But the point is, you have to actually enforce and do something in order to expect different results.
It's real simple, Jeff. Like, why are we making this complex? I feel like the guy from the junior college commercial. It's simple. Why are y'all making this complicated? If you decide, my mother would say, if you are man enough to hit a man, you are man enough to get hit like one. If you want equal rights, you're going to get equal rights and lefts. This is dirt simple. Like, I don't understand why this is a thing. See, sometimes when we talk about the dominant society, we say the dominant society only understands two things, the loss of revenue and the loss of blood. Sometimes the only thing a belligerent woman will understand is you doing something completely different, which means leaving the situation, because if you want a woman to get some act right, bounce.
Yeah.
That's it. Like, respectfully. I might have taken it too far because they don't understand. You can talk. There are brick walls with better conversation than there are women who can be held accountable.
Damn.
Damn.
They gonna come for you for this. You lucky we don't clip these up.
Oh, I'm sorry. No. This is the problem. When they clip it up, it ain't never my clips because my clips gonna get them in trouble.
Oh yeah, some of the shit I said, I was like,
the issue.
I know that.
And I'm sorry, let me explain something to you. The views and expressions of David Stephen Anderson are not necessarily those of Darwin McPherson, Mumi, Obsidian, Ali, Ask a Brother Podcast, Jeff St. Damon, and subsidiaries. Now, having said all that, I will say this. The difference between me and these other three gentlemen is I do not have a boss. I work for myself. If you decide to cancel me, I will go to Rumble and I will dominate. It's okay. How do you cancel somebody who does not need you? Somebody's always going to need a consultant. Somebody's going to need a 30-year media professional.
Hold on. I think I think I'm one of the last Mohicans that's trying not to get canceled. So
and when you understand the freedom is not in trying not to get canceled, the freedom is do your worst because canceling does not exist. To quote Denzel Washington, who has not been canceled, and if you knew what I knew, anyway, Denzel said, "How are you going to cancel something I never subscribed to? Who are these people, bro? I worked really hard." From 2011 to right the hell now to be able to talk this greasy. That's it. Somebody's got to say the bad thing. Like, why is it that we're so afraid? What they go? Who are we fighting? The gooch? That's what y'all respectfully. That's what y'all sound like. You ever see Different Strokes?
Mhm.
For those of you who didn't, spoiler alert: Gary Coleman's character Arnold Jackson or Drummond had a bully named the Gooch, and we didn't find out until the last season that the Gooch was a girl. Y'all are falling victims to the Gooch because you're so afraid to get beat up in the lunchroom. Come on with it. What you gonna say? That I'm not perfect? That I'm inappropriate? That I say bad things? Guilty, guilty, guilty. And guess what? Whatever I did, I did. But I'm a new creature in Christ, and that's the past. Get over it. Cry me a river and cross over it or not. And if I burned a bridge, good thing I can swim, bitch.
Let me break something to you, Jeff.
Yeah.
I mean, I don't think the clips would have canceled you, bro.
How
Could
so?
you just imagine, like, as powerful as Kevin Samuels was, I would argue that he was canceled, and look what he was able to do. Because as long as a message is potent and it moves people and it's just real as it get, it doesn't matter what anybody do. So I get it. I will speak for myself. I know a lot of stuff I said on previous episodes was some extreme shit, but I don't think it's gonna get you canceled. Like we're like really canceled. Maybe Dave probably get you canceled.
Oh, absolutely. I'm working for it.
You know what it is? I'll say this, because I think two things can be, if not three things, can probably be true. The first is there's different levels of consequences. So the first level is, oh, people call you names. That already happens to all of us. You're all desensitized and used to that. The second level, I think, is the stigmatization and isolation that can happen in your actual everyday lives, right? So family, friends, different people who you might have grown up with, as a result of the accusations and the things that's being claimed of you, it can change your actual quality of your relationships. And then point number three is, and this is the point, and we talked about this when it came to the whole NAACP telling these
athletes,
college athletes, hey, y'all need to not go to the school that offered you a full ride and all this other stuff. Go to another school, and they may or may not have a spot already starting ready for you, and they may not be able to give you a full ride, but still do it anyway. Like this idea of just do this, don't worry about the consequences, or don't worry about what could happen to you. It's like what I always wonder about is the people who think that way. They're never jumping in the space in place of the people who would get affected by really living that out. So as an example, I have a 1-year-old daughter.
Right.
Almost nobody that I know outside of maybe one or two people that's not my parents would help make sure that my daughter's okay financially and make sure our bills are paid, there's a roof over her heads and all this other stuff. So for me, cancellation isn't really about name calling or people not liking me. It's about understanding how to walk the line between being honest, saying what I need to say, but acknowledging this ain't my platform. I mean, this is my platform. This ain't my app. This isn't my infrastructure, right? Now, I agree with you with Dave. Like there are other routes. There are other avenues.
Right.
But, you know, I've seen Fresh and Fit went through it. And the dip that they had to experience they're still recovering from it to this day.
Certainly.
And you know, but the difference is when they did it, they were millionaires by that point. So
hold on, wait. I think Fresh and Fit, they got terminated, demonetized. I think it's different to be canceled by the culture.
Right, because I'm not talking about that. I know where the YouTube line is. This ain't got nothing to do with respect to the
but that's part of cancellation. Because they try to get the channel removed. They try to,
No, the monetization from the actual platform from breaking the guidelines is different than the culture canceling. Saying like, "Fuck the dude, Jeff." That's what we're talking about. We're not talking about the monetization. We don't want that on nobody.
Yeah, but a lot of times, how you get there, a lot of times, is the initial cancellation. They start complaining. They start filing complaints. They start looking up. Yeah, so I'm saying is like that. It's rare where it's like, oh, you can't be on any platforms. Nick Fuentes is an anomaly. There wasn't a lot of people who was treated like him. Most people, Pearl had a channel, was big, was huge. She kept saying crossing certain lines. She broke
the guidelines though. You can't.
Yes,
I think one of the most one of the
Every
things
example you're getting are people who broke guidelines.
The termination guideline that actually rendered terminating your monetization was, I think she said that women shouldn't have rights to vote. She crossed the line. I think there's protected class or members or some shit like that. Or
there's certain speech that's protected. No one here is doing that. We're talking about the mob, the digital mob putting out pitchforks and torches. You know, that is a different part. Like, you've never heard me do that. And then when you talk about Fresh and Fit have said some things I have never said. Respectfully, they can say whatever they want to. However, I know where the line is. The difference between me and y'all, right? So if anything, Jeff is Superman, right? I will go as far as to say Darwin is Green Lantern, because his imagination will build things that don't exist anywhere else without that damn ring. And Obsidian is Martian Manhunter. Unfortunately for you three, y'all decided to get Batman on here. Batman understands the importance of isolation. Batman can do the job with or without you, and Batman knows how to kill every member of the Justice League in case any of you motherfuckers go rogue. Therein lies the difference. He's not concerned with how the public treats him. What did Batman say? I'm whoever Gotham needs me to be. You can chase me if you want to. You can do whatever you want to. I'm the guy with no powers. I'm not the guy with the fancy team. I'm not the guy with the team of consultants. I am just me. But my whole thing is, if you are a person, and this goes for everybody, if you are a person that just relies on YouTube and you don't have no books, you don't have no speeches, you don't have any merch, you don't have anything to offer outside of being a, you're setting yourself up to be a fried fish, and you deserve everything you get because you let the mob be more powerful because you put all of your eggs in one basket. As a father of daughters, one with autism, the other one is 27 years old. I get it, but there is absolutely no way I'm going to look my daughters in the face and say, you can be whoever you want to be, whatever you want to be, but I'm going to tap dance when it comes to making sure I don't piss off the mob. I understand where the line is and I respect it. What I'm not going to do is placate people and be a watered down Mayberry version of myself. Nah.
Well, speaking of people who, oh, my bad. We got another super chat. DBS, what's going on, brother? Dave, we had this conversation about Batman. Say your icon.
Icon. Fair enough. Same universe, same mindset.
Yeah, like when you look at Andrew Tate, man, he was also breached termination. I mean, but a lot of these guys were canceled long before they broke the guidelines. Like,
yes,
they wouldn't, you know what I'm saying? They were so toxic, bro. But they were really literally walking the line and just saying everything they could say before crossing it. And I think that's when who was a dude named Fresh got aggravated with Myron for actually crossing the line. He was like, bro, come on.
You messing up the money.
Yeah, money was definitely impacted for sure. And that Rumble money is not the same as YouTube money, apparently.
Sure ain't. But ain't nothing like book money when you ain't got to worry about the you ain't got to worry about the publisher.
And I've been preached. I don't see them crossing. They really play the guidelines really well. But I think it's starting to come out that
you saw what happened.
Abba has been.
You saw what happened.
He's an undercover red pill.
There's a club, all that toxic masculinity. He's like, there's a club, I'm going to shoot it up. And I'm going to pay for you to get a vacuum. He was the Oprah Winfrey of vacuums. You get a vacuum. You get a vacuum. Everybody,
you know what's crazy? In 2026, I did not have in my bingo cards Abba arguably being worse than all the male influencers that's been exposed.
How about that?
He is the reddest of red pill.
He tried to take down Sadia Khan for being a life coach or dating coach, but at the same time a side chick. I'm like, bro, but all the while you having all your flings, abortions.
What'd you say, Obsidian?
Multiple side chicks. I mean, international side chicks.
He was flying them in and flying them out, shooting them up and sucking them out.
Bro, yeah, that's whoa.
Tell me when I'm telling lies. He flew them in. He flew them out. He shot them up. And when they got with in the family way, he sucked them babies out.
Oh, okay.
Yeah, that's what he meant. I don't know what you thought he meant. That's
you know what he thought I meant, because now you're wearing the white shirt.
What are you thinking?
This is the most pause-worthy person on this panel.
Yes.
Pause, yo. Hey,
Shirt
yo.
Darwin is the worst. Go get your black t-shirt, sir. You out of uniform.
And Obsidian, like, what I meant to ask you that, man. What did you think about hearing about Abba being exposed by multiple women now? And you know, they were like coming at Fresh and Fit, they were coming at all these,
and that was just a one-off with Walt.
Yeah,
that was a one-off. And okay, fair enough. You can have your commentary on that. That's fine. I'm not here to defend Fresh and Fit, but I mean, my God, I went and looked that up. I mean, you got his actual girlfriend. They were about maybe 6 months. Libby, I think her name is, or Libby or Lily, something like that. First it was her, then it was an additional 4 or 5 other young ladies that came for. One of them, an OnlyFans, very tall, statuesque OnlyFans. I can't remember the name now, but she was associated with OnlyFans. So I mean, yeah, it was just really bad. It's just really
man. Abba got a roster, bro, and he was outside shooting the club up for real. No mercy.
He was Nate Dogg. I got pros. I got pros in different area codes.
Oh, so listen, we have at least one more person. Obviously, we talked about the judge.
Yes.
We reviewed Lizzo, but obviously this isn't a unique issue relating to Black women as well. Ellen was a really I gotta say, man, this was one of the more egregious. Now, I'm not even gonna get into the other panelists can get into the weeds of some of the extra stuff, but when it came to how she conducted herself in the workplace, let's take a look with what Ellen was doing, and then we'll respond to that.
Oh boy, welcome to season 18 of the Ellen DeGeneres Show. If you're watching because you love me, thank you. If you're watching because you don't love me, welcome. How was everybody's summer? Good? Yeah? Mine was great. Super terrific. I'm so happy to be back in the studio. There are a lot of things I want to talk about. I've been looking forward to addressing it all directly, and unfortunately, talking directly to people has been illegal for 6 months, so I have a virtual audience here instead. Here you all are. You look beautiful, and I'm sure you smell great. That's what I'm imagining anyway. All right, let's get to it. As you may have heard, this summer there were allegations of a toxic work environment at our show. And then there was an investigation. I learned that things happened. I take that very seriously, and I want to say I am so sorry to the people who were affected. I know that I'm in a position of privilege and power, and I realize that with that comes responsibility, and I take responsibility for what happens at my show. This is the Ellen DeGeneres Show. I am Ellen DeGeneres. My name is there. My name is there. My name is on underwear. We have had a lot of conversations over the last few weeks about the show, our workplace, and what we want for the future. We have made the necessary changes, and today we are starting a new chapter. There were also articles in the press and on social media that said that I am not who I appear to be on TV, because I became known as the Be Kind lady. And here's how that happened. I started saying be kind to one another after a young man named Tyler Clemente took his own.
Yes, what? So I thought that you were gonna scare me when I came in. I don't know why. So in my dressing room, you have the bathroom with the cameras. So I put towels all over the cameras, and I went and peed in Kobe Bryant's dressing room because I was scared.
Well, you're right. I was trying to scare you. You got here an hour early, and I was trying to scare you, and it was too. So it doesn't matter if you put the stuff over the cameras. I had to be in there, and you got here before I could get. I was going to hide.
See?
You were right.
Yes.
You ruined it.
I'm sorry.
You ruined it.
I'm sorry.
Oh, well, that's okay.
Okay.
I'll get you, my pretty. I'll get you. The last time I saw you was at the teen show. Attacks on me.
Ellen's mean. She's so mean.
And attacking everything that I stand for and believe in.
This former waitress claims she was threatened with a 2-week suspension after Ellen DeGeneres complained about, of all things, her chipped fingernail polish.
And built my career around. Like I am a kind person.
I can tell you who the meanest one I ever met. Uh-oh. Her name is Ellen DeGeneres. Oh, shit. It's crazy that all this stuff's come out, like, about Ellen being mean. Because when I met her, I thought she was really mean. Like,
I am a person who likes to make people happy.
Did you ever meet Ellen DeGeneres? Yes. Was she nice or no? She made me feel pretty not great. I hate that. I've heard that so many times. Yeah. It's not that she was mean, per se. She just made me feel stupid.
I am a people pleaser, you know.
What about Ellen DeGeneres? A little nasty in the book against her.
Well, I tell a story about her. That was my experience when I was on her show.
What was this? What happened to you?
I just thought she really kind of ruled that set with an iron fist in a way that was a little like, it took me back a little bit.
This is who I am. There must be some truth to it because it's not.
2025, new claims surfaced 5 years after the original workplace scandal that ended the Ellen DeGeneres show. This time, a former cameraman spoke to the Daily Mail and described what he said was a tense and uncomfortable work environment. According to him, Ellen allegedly didn't treat male staffers well. He claimed the show went through multiple male employees and even said there were 9 different stage managers in a single season. "We had a feeling she really didn't like guys," he reportedly said. He also described what staff called the Ellen gaze. He said when she was upset, her eyes would narrow and her cheekbones would tighten. To him, it felt like a queen looking for her next execution. That's how intimidating he claimed she could be. At the same time, he said her wife, Portia de Rossi, was kind and friendly to staff. But he made one strange claim. If a male employee was seen chatting too comfortably with Portia, it could reportedly upset Ellen. Staff, he said, hoped they wouldn't get seated near her wife during events just to avoid drawing attention.
All right. Thoughts about Ellen and an environment that was fostered to where countless accusations, not just from people who work for her, even guests, even celebrities were noticing the way she conducted herself because she had a show named after her. You know, she had the plug from Oprah. She ran the show. She was the show. And this white woman who had who was part of the LGBTQ community apparently had so much of a negative influence to where a lot of people felt like not only did she function like a dictator, she would often even cross certain lines. What y'all think?
I think it is Pride Month, right?
It's Pride Month and it's Men's Mental Health Month, if I recall correctly.
Wow. Yeah.
They should have made it Pride Month and Men's Genital Health Month, because Pride Month is intrinsically linked to the rectile health and all that other shit. And if they get, what do they call it? Fudge pack. You got.
Oh my God!
I'm just saying. They would have done. Listen, if they made it, I think they would have deterred a lot of those men from being in the rainbow community if they would have made it about their lower extremity health or the sexual or the STI health.
Oh, Jesus. Obsidian, go ahead, brother. Just go.
Okay. So, I mean, there's definitely something to be said. I mean, all these people can't be wrong about Ellen. I mean, all of them can't be. Like Dave was saying earlier, you get a whole bunch of people, from all different directions saying more or less the same thing. I mean, come on, where there's smoke, there's fire. And, the thing I'm kind of worried about with this is this kind of blowing back on Oprah, so to speak, because she was kind of like the vector for, Ellen to get on. It really does. You really just have to do your homework, man. When you're platforming people, you have to do your homework. That's the real big takeaway from the whole Cheyenne Bryant thing. Kind of swing back around to that. That's really the big takeaway. You just really have to do your homework. Nothing is iron-tight. No, nothing's airtight and ironclad, but you try to do the best you can to try to, do your due diligence on people before you bring them on a platform. It's kind of sad that you have to do that, but that's where we are at this point. The liability is just too strong.
Now, I will show this. Crystal, thank you for your comment. She says a woman has the right to be heard but not believed. I think that is the go-to that with these type of conversations going forward. That's the mentality I think that we all, if we haven't adopted it, I think we need to. Is that you're right. Obviously, unless it was absolutely somehow proven or if she's paid out money or whatever, I'm just going to use the word allegedly. But yeah, that's a hell of a lot of people where the arguably one of the most privileged people on the planet is a white woman in America, and she's rich, and she's a millionaire, and she was co-signed by Oprah. And for a work environment from men and women complaining and saying, and this, we glossed over the fact of the stuff of them saying like, yo, she's popping up in people's private areas and putting cameras in spots like where people are supposed to be getting dressed. And I'm like, what the hell is going on? Like, so again, the benefit of the doubt, and Darwin kind of alluded to it. I think as men, especially, we have to figure out all the ways we can to reduce the options or likelihood for women that have this capacity to even be in a position to do this to us.
You just got to quit. I think those people who work for her, people who complain about their boss, but still go in the clock and collect a paycheck is somehow enabling whatever it's coming to them. If you want to do what you just said, we have to decrease the capacity of these women able to be able in a position to do that. You got to stop affiliating yourself with these people. You got to quit. You got to walk away and go get another job. So if skill is skill, and you got the skill and you did the work, I'm with Dave. If you do the work, you can go work anywhere.
So my question, because running and quitting is cool, I guess. I wonder where's the role of using the legal system to your benefit to force accountability with situations like this? Because if everybody is getting harmed keeps quitting, and they keep being replaced by people that didn't know any better, it's continuing the cycle versus stopping it at its head, in my opinion. Now,
I don't believe the people that know any better.
Like staying there and not
people that's coming in and know any better. I think people know. I think at some point people know better whenever they come dealing with. I think she's done enough damage, or she's created enough track record where she sounded the alarm in a way to where anybody who goes to work for her knows what the fuck they're getting into.
Yeah, I'm talking about now, but I'm saying leading, like for instance, I'm trying to think of somebody in Hollywood, right? You get an opportunity and you get put on and you get your opportunity, you're doing good work, and then before you realize, you start seeing how they're treating you, how they're treating certain other people. I can see it from both angles of like, it's a hostile work environment, you probably can leave. But at the same time, it's like, I also believe in people being allowed to want to be treated at least with respect when they working, and like that's a very reasonable ask. And it doesn't result in you needing to be getting cursed out. This isn't the military. People threatening you and holding things over you. Like, people should be allowed to keep jobs and be treated respectfully, professionally.
I think you should have it. If you want respect from your boss, I think that should be in your contract if that's what you want. I mean, like you said, in the military, I've been in a hostile work environment. As long as if I'm getting what I'm supposed to get in the contract, but if respect ain't in there, or I gotta like you or whatever ain't in there, on my Fences movie, Denzel, I don't gotta like your ass. I just gotta make sure I feed you, put your shelter on you, and send you on your way. Wasn't that Fences, or am I wrong?
That's Fences.
Fences, yeah.
August
So and then in Durham, with what you said, I'm wondering, what does should you expect professionalism in the workplace now from anyone?
What?
Or is that just a bonus if you get lucky? Like, I think the basic thing is you're on mute, Darwin. I think you are.
I don't think there's any contrast between professionalism and being an asshole. I think some of the most excellent professionals are assholes. I I don't think that you're absolved just because you're in a professional. I mean that you can't be human. You mean you can't not like somebody, or you can't not lash out.
Mm-hmm. Mm-hmm.
If you can point to the.
So based on, how about this? So based on the stories we watched, were any of these people justified in filing the complaint or filing the lawsuit?
Yeah,
Absolutely.
I still think two things can be true at once. If you feel like you've been mistreated, and there's a proper channel, a proper process to be able to file a complaint and get it rectified, then you should do it.
Okay. Yeah.
I think the whole reason why they have that channel set up is because those people are going to be, like you said, abuse their power.
Mm-hmm.
So we have to account for that. We have to compensate. We have to create wiggle room for people to be able to talk to somebody above your head about how you're treating them.
True. And Lydell Jefferson, thank you, good sir, for the $50 banger. Appreciate you, sir, for showing love. And everybody, we're about to wrap up very shortly. So if you have any additional comments or questions you want us to react or respond to before we close out, feel free to hit that super chat button. And if you have not commented or liked this, please make sure that you do. And thank you, everybody that's currently watching. Yeah, man. The first thing that I'm thinking about when I look at cases like this is, you all kind of alluded to it. We have to start viewing the full humanity and spectrum of women on the same level that we do men. I even think when we have these conversations, I still sense it a little bit where we're often, not with Dave, I still sense that we're using kid gloves when we're talking about cases like this involving women. Dave, we was wearing no gloves. But for the rest of us, I do think that there's a level of infantilization going on when these types of things are happening and it involves women, because this is why women get less sentencing. This is why you get punished less. And the serious nature of what Dave was saying, and I'm also alluding to, is it is actually what you said, Darwin, to a degree, which is we have to position ourselves better, either with different work environments, different supervisors, or try to become our own boss, or, keep moving around. But I think the veil of women being allowed to get away with as much as they used to historically, the media and social media is now making this much more clear, especially with the teacher epidemic. The days of women getting the benefit of the doubt and trust and just the assumption that they're going to handle power and authority better, that's out the window. It's out the window. And I think as consumers and as people who do have jobs or do work, gentlemen, and I'm not talking to the guys on the panel, I'm talking about the guys who's watching this right now. I actually think Mike Pence was right. I went from thinking, that's a bit extreme. I don't know. My experience and what I've seen and what I've observed, man, even in this content stuff and how women can, go from 180, they're cool with you, and then the next minute they're just completely volatile or whatever. Fellas, Mike Pence, if you don't know, look up what his quote was. He just doesn't put himself, and who was it, Jason Derulo? He said,
you took the words right out of my mouth. Because Jason Derulo kept finding himself in situations where they were trying to get a bag off of him, and he wasn't even doing nothing. Like, yo, hey, can I come in and show you this answer? Yeah, sure, come on in. Next thing you know, Jason Derulo getting sued again. Nah, man. The other part of that, and this is what I've been trying to say for the past few minutes. Hollywood does not operate under the same auspices as the rest of the world. The EEOC don't really exist in Hollywood. And when I say Hollywood, I'm not talking about Los Angeles. I'm talking about the entire thing. Hollywood is not a place. It is a culture. And that culture operates under different rules. The same way that I could live in LA and understand that I'm just a square versus somebody who lives in LA and they happen to be a Pyru. You understand what I'm saying? It's a different set of rules for gangbangers than it is for everybody else. And so there's no EEOC when that happens. And also depending on the timeline, because when this Ellen stuff was happening, around the same time I was going through the stuff with Ricky. The stuff that happens now, we were not having the mental health conversations we are having now. We also were not having the conversations of workplace rights for people. And I ain't got to say nothing else. There's plenty of stuff online. You can look at Pink Book Lessons and all these other folks, and they'll tell you everything that I'm not going to say here. But the truth of the matter is, the reason that folks can do this is because nobody cares about the person who is the producer, the HR person, the intern, any of the pages, the camera people, any of them, because all those people can be replaced. It's always the name on the marquee, and they will protect the name on the marquee until it is no longer financially feasible to do so. Whether you are Ellen, Oprah, DL, Ricky, whoever. Yeah. Take with that information what you will and do whatever research your Googles will allow you to do. Hollywood is a culture, and that culture is set up to protect these, I don't want to use the word monsters, but other people have. Deal with that for what you will. And if I'm wrong, and if I'm saying something that is any way, shape, or form not true, then ask yourself, in the 19 years since I've been removed from those types of situations, why I've never been sued. Hollywood is a culture.
And real quick, man, Reckoning Cage. Break bread, gentlemen. You guys are doing a phenomenal job. Appreciate you, brother, for the 99.99. We appreciate you. Appreciate you showing love. You know what, man? We got to figure out something for our high high givers, man. Some
sponsor
special
of the show, man. Sponsor of the show.
Yeah, some special perks. So we're gonna figure out something pretty soon between now and the summer. Of something we could do when people clear $50 or more super chats. So we got to do something special for y'all. So we're gonna figure that out and make that announcement pretty soon. So yeah, gentlemen, I think this was an interesting. I think we can agree that this was just an interesting thing because it was just so many areas that we were kind of diving into when it comes to female authority, autonomy, power, and authority, and what they're doing with it. And you know, you got the conscious leads of the world and public offenders and all these guys is constantly talking about the need to build up the matriarchy and the need to tear down the patriarchy. We just found 3 random examples of people that's completely unrelated who are accused of or even proven to have overstepped their lines or authority. And as a result, man, we're in a new era. And I think, Darwin, what you said is right. We as men especially, we need to stop giving women who we aren't married to and aren't living with the benefit of the doubt. We really do. We really do, because it can come back to bite you. They can hold you. You can allow yourself for them to hold you hostage, and you can end up compromising and allowing yourself to look like Torre when it came to Cheyenne Bryan. And I think nothing is sadder than a man in this society sitting and taking what happened with Cheyenne Bryan, but doing that in your own work environment in place. So we have to be smarter, gentlemen, when it comes to putting ourselves in better business positions, career positions, and making sure that the types of people, like Darwin said, that even show these type of signs, we already start planning our exit plan. And putting distance between us and them as soon and as quick as possible. And then last but not least, Stefan Moultrie, thank you for the $2. What's your ultimate collective goal for Black men? And then we're going to circle back to that. And then Jason for the $10. At what point do we admit that America's value system is intellectually, spiritually, and morally insolvent? The predation is pervasive for us all. I guess we'll just answer these 2 quick questions, and then we'll close out. What do you guys think about what the ultimate collective goal for Black men should be?
I wish we had a collective goal, but if they, you know what I'm saying, I would love to read it. I think the Real Black Agenda in that book, man, you can see a lot of, shout out to Dave, you can see a lot of pieces in there. even the St. Kevin Samuel's Bible, bro, can tell you some things that you can pre-position yourself to excel in life. And one of the things I would say is, I think all Black men, young Black men specifically, because I think it starts whenever you're young. We so if we backpedal some decades back to maybe like 15 people getting out of graduating, if you can't go to college on a scholarship, you know what I'm saying, if you ain't jumping out the gym like Kobe and LeBron, if you ain't got a trade that's gonna excel you in employment, I say go to the military. Especially if you don't have a father in the house, you haven't teach you any instructional leadership, emotional control, regulation, anything like that. I'm sorry, can you all hear that?
A little bit.
My son's in the background. But yeah, send their boys to the military. I had an argument, and then I got invited on somebody's little podcast or whatever. And we was talking about the military because I just fundamentally think that you could literally build your character, get paid to build your character. You know, the development that you wasn't able to get when your father was in the house. You can get paid while doing it instead of just hoping that you develop it whenever you go to college. Wow, you're paying for college and then going into debt. You get what I'm saying? And then after you get out of the military, you can still go into college.
Yep.
Then you come into employment with experience already.
Retirement.
So you put yourself ahead of, you got massive benefits.
So,
and people say it ain't for everybody. And I'm like, dude, as long as you got air in your lungs, blood in your veins, and you ain't got nothing that can disqualify you medically or as far as criminal, you're good to go.
That's right. Get your ass up and run 6 miles at 4 o'clock in the morning.
The military is set up to handle people who feel like it ain't for you. They're gonna make it for your ass.
Oh, you gonna learn.
You just need to be at the right place, right time, right uniform, and you cannot fail. You gotta. It's very hard to fail in the military. They gonna micromanage the fuck out of you to make sure you get from A to Z. So I think a lot of parents are just scared. They just have this idea that they're gonna put him on the front line.
Yeah.
Well, this is Trump's military. The military don't belong to the president. He's the chief. He's the
commander in chief. Yeah,
commander in chief. But he's still being regulated on his use of the military, and it has to be justified. So, that's all I gotta say, man. Even if you're afraid of your kid getting into combat arms or getting harmed way, there's so many jobs like being a fucking cook. Or being in a band and being holding a clarinet or some shit that they can take on besides combat arms. So it's so many excuses. And I think black people, we can't afford to have all of these fucking excuses for 15, 16-year-olds that's graduating in June. You get what I'm saying?
Yeah. It's either military, you said military, trade, or college.
Or if he's on a scholarship. If he's not on a scholarship, man, don't take that financial aid. Because I'm telling you, I'm seeing black men. I know black men that's my age right now in their 40s, and they still haven't paid off of their student loans.
Yeah. When I met Michelle Obama, right before I talked to her, she wrote the check to pay off her and Barack's student loans. And they was like at 50 at the time. So like, what is we talking about?
Wow.
You know, but yeah, man, for me personally, I think we have to have a certain level of mental fitness that just has to come into play. We've got to understand what is going on with us, what we should tolerate. Like men have to start, forgive me, Jeff, I'm about to sound like a clinician, correct me and do all the jargon after I'm done. We need to start normalizing men establishing boundaries in every aspect of human endeavor.
I like that.
Because what winds up happening is folks, especially folks who are protected by society, feel like they can say anything, do anything, and be anything to us, and we're just supposed to take it because we're a man, and if we're not, then we're da-da-da-da-da. There's 3 places I highly recommend men never go again. Back and forth, around in circles, or out of your way. Now, the other part of that is, from a physical standpoint, I highly recommend, especially black men, listen to me as a former slack-jawed North American big back with food addiction issues. Please get your diet and your physical fitness up to par. You don't know. Listen to me. You do not know what's coming. The other part of that is my favorite book is not The Real Black Agenda, contrary to public opinion or prior belief. My favorite book says, "Be ye not conformed to this world, be ye transformed by the renewing of your mind." Start thinking about things, reading different things that you don't necessarily agree with, things that you can learn from. Even if you got to start just reading summaries and audiobooks, get the knowledge in you. The most dangerous threat to the dominant society is a black man who is well-read and well-educated. Not well-degreed. We leave that for the ladies, respectfully. Well-educated and well-read. That's it. Physical, mental, boundaries, education. That's my ultimate collective goal for us.
Yeah, and Obsidian, did you have anything to say about this?
Yeah, I'm glad that that Darwin referred to my book. Still got quite a few copies left. If anybody wants to grab up a copy or two. The Conclave's motto is right on the back: Excellentia in omnibus, excellence in all things. That's what we try to focus on. It's pretty straightforward. So that's what I would say to that. I'm in full agreement with what Darwin said about the military. I think that's a really good option if you're a brother that don't really have much else going on. Go for it. Get your stint in there. Who knows? You might be able to make a career out of it. Do your 20, drop papers, come out, still young enough to do other things.
Anything you want.
Education, travel the world. Of course, there's always a possibility of going into combat theater. That's true. But I mean, there have been stories of, the famous story of Chris Kyle, right? The American Sniper, for anybody's seen the movie.
Yeah, that was a dope movie.
Great
He
movie.
came back home and died back home in Texas. So there are risks. Part of being a man is taking risks.
Yes,
that's what part of being a man is all about. Now, obviously, you want to do risk assessment, but yeah, that's part of it. I think it's good for a man to take some healthy risks in life. So I'm with Darwin on that, and I'm with Dave with the idea of having a healthy sense of boundaries. I think one of the great things you can do is if you set up your life a certain way, you kind of the problems kind of take care of themselves. I hear a lot of brothers. Let's just get right to it. I hear a lot of brothers talk about women. Fair enough, and they will often talk about thoughts, if you will. And while I can hear where they're coming from, personally, it's hard for me to relate because I fixed my life such that it's very I have to deliberately go looking for that, right, in order to encounter that. So we all have. I'll give grace to every brother. It was a great idea at the time. Okay, great, I get that. But if you're constantly talking about that tells me that you're deliberately seeking it. And then there's another conversation that has to be had after that. Because like you're saying, Jeff, in the period that we're in right now, the period of the great feminization, as Helen Andrews put it, she would be somebody I'd love to talk to myself. Would be a great guest for the men's table because it kind of goes to tonight's discussion. In the period of the great feminization, as we have seen in these examples of these women that we're talking about tonight, if you're not careful, man, you can wreck your whole life behind that. So, yeah, what Darwin said, what Dave said, what Jeff said, get the book, The Gospel of St. Kevin Samuel's, Excellence in All Things. That's our motto from the conclave.
Yeah.
Hey, Jeff, you know what's crazy? You know what's crazy, Jeff?
What's up?
The YN right now, if you look at the numbers, have a higher rate of unalive than a military soldier.
I don't know why they just don't automatically reinstitute the draft. Get all the YNs out there, and anybody who is being a drag on society, and get them out there. Also, find them people who are like the child support process service. If we got some terrorists hiding, send them over there. They can find them folks anywhere. Like, I just think that's the best thing to do. You ain't gonna have no military shortage.
I'm gonna
all
say,
these folks, the gangsters, send them over there, kill all them insurgents.
Yeah, I'm gonna say this real quick. I think, and it kind of touches on what each of you said in different ways, and I agree with everything you guys have said. In this era of us talking about relationships, our future, what we're building towards, I want men to decenter women from being the basis for establishing what their masculinity and identity is. I think so much, especially with the feminization. I think we based what we do in this community, how we live, what we subject ourselves to, who we sacrifice for, always through the lens of what women think and how women feel, and whether or not it's to their approval, if they agree with it. It's not about hating women. It's about, you have to put them in their proper place so that you can actually focus on your purpose. And I think there's too many guys, man, where we keep getting knocked off because we center women too much. We keep getting knocked off because we center thoughts too much. We keep getting, so if I had to say anything, I think that if we push women to where they should be in our focus, and actually focused on why we're here and what we're meant to do and the life and legacy we're trying to leave behind, it may be the military. It may be going into business with ourselves. It may be getting into real estate, you name it. But the point is, I want Black men to get serious about their passion, their dreams, and their ability to leave an actual legacy. I think I forget which verse it was, but it talks so much about it's damn near a curse when a man dies and he has nothing to leave behind, especially to his kids or his family. And I think there's too many cases in the modern world where there's men that's walking around right now, and if they drop dead right now, they would be a financial burden to the people that are in their life right now. Family, kids, their lover. And I think that if we actually recenter on what am I leaving behind? What am I building towards? What am I working towards? And start there versus arguing night and day about whether women going to listen to us or if the system respects us or if we're going to get reparations. I'm like, listen, while you still arguing about all of this stuff, bills still got to get paid. Things still got to happen. Either you're working towards being more free or you're complaining about being a slave to me. So yeah. So I appreciate what you guys said. And then Jason, man, at what point do we admit that America's value system is intellectually, spiritually, and morally insolvent? The predation is pervasive for us all. I'm gonna say I don't know of too many Black people who would disagree with this. I think most of us already. I think the difference is there are those that still trying to change the system. They still think that we can work within the system to transform it somehow. And I'm in the camp of the system is going to be the system. And unless you completely dismantle it, trying to remix it, trying to flip it up, I just don't think the system is designed for those who the system has already decided should be at the bottom rung. So with that in mind, how then do you live? I think it's easier to base what Dave said on, I'm going to base if I live or die, if I succeed or fail on me, than a system or the government or the man or anything else. Doesn't mean that there aren't factors at play. It just means I'm going to put most of my time and energy into building up myself intellectually, spiritually, morally, and doing that within the people that's most connected to me and surrounding myself with the people that's building up on those things as well. I'm gonna be honest with you. America is America. We can call it Babylon. We can call it what we want. I know what I have control over is me, and I got control over my household. And I'm going to start there, and I'm going to build with like-minded guys like the guys on this platform. And hell, a lot of the people in the audience say that they really enjoy these type of talks because we're actually raising the bar when it comes to what we're talking about, how we're engaging in this. And we don't always agree, but the fact that we can respect each other and walk away learning more, understanding more, and having a different perspective, I think that's what this is meant to be. And so, so everybody, thank y'all for tuning in. Thank y'all for supporting the men's table. Like we said, we're going to have announcements pretty soon when it comes to some a variety of different plans and things that we're hoping to do. Gentlemen, do y'all have any special things coming up that y'all want to let the audience know about before we close out?
Well, I do. We're still waiting with bated breath for Ace Metaphor to bring his ass on the show. Obsidian, we're holding you accountable for that. In all seriousness, this Friday,
leave my brother Obsidian alone.
I'm never gonna leave Obsidian alone. That's how I show love. We from the same neighborhood. He know how I go. Yeah, unfortunately, he went to Germantown. They turned his school into luxury condos. Anyway, free wealth masterclass is happening 12 p.m. Friday, right after Dave Anderson Morning News. Make sure you register. It is absolutely free. I'm going to be giving away a lot of knowledge, and folks are going to walk away with an action step battle plan for their business to scale it. So make sure that you guys go ahead and register for that. And then check out Dave Anderson Morning News each and every weekday, Monday through Friday, 10 a.m. to 12 noon Eastern. Subscribe. And of course, The Real Black Agenda is available where fine bookstores are sold everywhere. And if you don't like to read, I got a comic book. And if you don't want to touch a book, you can get the ebook. And if you don't want to touch anything, you can just listen to it on Audible. I got you, but you're going to get this work.
All right. What about you guys?
I'm thinking about configuring a podcast. It's going to be a channel ran by my wife. It's not going to be the family channel we got. It's just going to be studio setup, Joe Button style, couch, microphone, stuff like that. And I'm trying to think, and with just y'all three opinion, should we do live stream or because live stream is going to require you to have like I think a device where you click, change the camera, switcher or some shit. Usually you have somebody in behind the scenes doing it. I don't know if I want to do that. I just want to go pre-record, and just have multiple cameras set up and then cut in between the cameras based off of who's speaking. So that's just what I'm caught in between the two.
It's a pro and con with it, man. Because the live, you get the additional engagement, you get super chats, you get a lot of things that's just not.
You ain't got to edit.
Yeah, you typically don't have to edit as much. So there's definitely pros and cons to each model. There's the issue where you can just do both. You can switch up your depending on what show and who you're talking with. You could decide if it's live or pre-recorded. And if you mix and match, you kind of can tap into both markets, if that makes sense.
The reason why I'm inclined to go live is because I kind of like what Joe Budden do. I kind of like what was it 5150 Corey Holcomb. They go live, and then all of their VODs, maybe 15, 8-10 minute videos, are cut up into regular videos.
Yep.
But they do, episode 1, episode 2, episode 12. And then they talk about whatever. They have a number of topics, and every topic has its own section that's going to be clipped up into its own video. So it makes it easy for editing, and then you give the people the live experience and the video experience. So I think that's what we're gonna do for sure.
Both.
Okay.
Just let me know, especially if there's tomahawk steaks involved. I'm there.
Oh yeah, I'm gonna set this room is up here on big. How did Dave? You haven't been here. I thought you'd been here, but yeah, this room is big enough for like if I ever want y'all to come down here and visit and I'm gonna have a big ass fucking couch of how all this shit set up in here. Okay. You guys can come down here. We could do a fucking in-house show.
That'd be fire. That'd be a good start.
We can go out to Papados on me, man. I mean on Dave.
Hey, you had it right the first time.
Reckoning Cage, thank you for the $1.99. Great job, gentlemen. Appreciate you for the love and for everybody everybody that liked it, everybody that shared it, and everybody that has super chatted. Thank y'all for supporting us and the brand. I'm gonna try a new panel tomorrow. We'll see how it goes. Hopefully the panel doesn't get blow up in my face. I'm just gonna try something different with terms of just different subject matter, different personalities, see how it works. I think this one will probably be a once a month one, just to kind of see how it works.
Don't exhaust yourself, man. And then
listen, Jeff is becoming the law and order of panels. This man is law and order. He SVU, he trial by jury, he's special victims unit, he's criminal intent. Like, how many panels we need, Jeff?
Listen, I'm gonna say this. I told Dave some of my plans like way back when we first did the interview, and I'm just now I'm functioning at about, let's say, 30% of what it is I'm trying to do in this space. I am busy, but I'm trying to build it towards something in the future. My personal goal is to have 4 functioning, really well-run panels.
If I was you, bro.
Hey, how's that book coming, Jeff? You finish that book? I'm gonna have that
almost
book.
done.
Almost
done. If I was you, Jeff, this is
up?
My recommendation. I think you need to pull yourself away from the women's panel and replace yourself with a woman host. Maybe one of the ladies on there, add a 4th, and just watch.
You need somebody young and hot.
And somebody. You need to hire a Mika or a Island Girl Q, whatever you want to call. Hire you somebody pretty that's gonna get the views, and let them run that women's show. And then in the future, do a combination.
Believe it or not, that was a goal.
A once a month combination between men and women, like a men's and women blend for just one show.
Oh, and you can't be skipping that, brother. You just ruining my shit. That was part of the, believe it or not, that was actually part of the goal, is to build it up, set it up, make sure it runs, have a reliable base of people who are consistent on it, to where it almost doesn't matter who's the host. I'm confident of how the show's going to run just because of I'm getting familiar with the panelists who I'm regularly working with. So that's one of the goals in mind. Because a lot of times, like when you watch Anton, he ain't even talking, he ain't even running it. There's other people pre-selecting, getting guests on, running the panels and everything. And I love the model of how he did it. So I'm doing something very similar. And the goal is to build it up to that. But now I'm still at the early stage of building it. So that is one of the short-term goals to work towards, believe it or not. And yeah, I actually do at some point want to do a merge of the men's table and the ladies table coming together to do this and do a big, huge joint session. So yeah, it's in the works. That's one of the goals for me. And Obsidian, did you have any announcements or anything you want to let people know?
Yeah, we're going to be making some major announcements with the Black Manosphere Conclave. It is on. It's going to be in Vegas, and we'll be doing some major, announcements with that because we've been talking about this behind the scenes. I just wanted to let everybody know that happens to catch this. We will be meeting in Vegas in September. Can't wait to see you all there. Stay tuned for more announcements with specifics and all that coming very soon.
Bet. So listen, everybody from wherever you're watching from, thank y'all for watching. Thank y'all for supporting. We plan to build this and turn this into something incredible. It's going to be in person at some point. We're going to be meeting y'all in person in the very near future. So thank you. And if you have not done so, feel free to become a member to the channels that you can. Make sure that you follow us on our respective platforms. And thank y'all for the love and support. And all that we ask, like it, share it, and make sure y'all hype up these videos when you see it. Have a good evening, and we'll talk to y'all on the other side. Deuces.